What is up everybody, this is Awais back with another tutorial on JavaFx. This is a fully working calculator you are seeing on your screen, and I'll show you how to develop this with JavaFx. If you are a totally beginner with JavaFX, don't worry, I will explain every single thing we need to know about JavaFX, such as what's the difference between controller file and main Java file and an fxml file, and I will show you how to style your application with CSS as well. So before we start, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and that being said, let's get started. Alright guys, so the IDE we're going to be using is NetBeans. You need to make sure you have Java installed in your PC, and you need to make sure that you have a scene builder installed as well. So if you want to follow along, you need to make sure you have a scene builder, because that's what I'm going to be using to design our UI for a calculator application. And yeah, let's go and create a new project now. I'm going to go to file menu and then click on a new project, and now select JavaFX as in a category and JavaFXML application as a project, which will create 3 files for us. So let's name the project first, and then I'll show you calcul later. And let's click on finish. It's going to make a project for us, and it's going to make 3 files for us. The first file is calculator.java, which has a main method, right? And we have a fxml document, which has all the design of the application and all the components you need to for a graphical user interface. And then Java controller file. Controller file is all about your functionality of your application. Alright, so the first thing what we need to do is we need to go to fxml document, and here we need to open this file in a scene builder. So let's go to project browser and source package, main package, and then we're gonna double click on fxml document, which is going to open that document in a scene builder. Alright, so this is a scene builder. Right now we have a button and a label, which I'm going to get rid of them. Select, delete, and select this one as well and delete. Alright, let's maximize this. Now we have an anchor pane, which is a container, and that's what we're going to be using. And now let's just change the layout of this anchor pane. I just want to change the size of this. So for that, I'm going to give this 400 width, and height I will give it to 40. Okay. Alright, so we have anchor pane but to 400 on X value, and the height is 240. Now on the left in the scene builder, you have all the components such as containers, controls, menus, shapes, charts, and 3D objects, right? So with that, we need a text box, actually text field, not a text box. So let's select a text field from controls, and let's just drop that to our anchor pane. Alright, so I'm just going to double click on it, it's going to drop that, and now let's go here, change the width to 400 and height and make it 40. Alright, so we have that now, and now we need a buttons. So let's just select one button, oops, double click on that. Alright, and let's go to the properties here, sorry, layout. So here we are going to make sure, so we have a 400 width of that anchor pane, so I'm gonna give it 100, so I could have 4 buttons in a row. So that's done. And height I'm gonna give 40, it's going to be 5 buttons, and now from the top I'm gonna give space of 40. Oops, it's just made a mistake. 400, let's 40. Okay, that's done. And now let's just copy and paste that button a few times. So I'm gonna copy, paste, 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 paste. Okay, well, let's just undo. Let's make it 4 buttons first, and let's select the second button, same height, and from top leave 40, and from the left leave 100. Enter, that's done. Select the third one, 40 is fine, and from here select 200 now. Oops, I made it 2000, not right, so select this one. 40 is fine, and here we'll give it 300. Alright, so we have 4 buttons now, and I'm actually going to copy and paste them, and let's see if we can just drop them. So select one, hold down shift key and select all the buttons, copy paste. Now you have selected all the buttons, but what we can do, we can actually right click and wrap them into horizontal box. Alright, and now if I copy horizontal box and paste it, now I can move the horizontal box with all those 4 buttons. Right, let's just give this, let's say 40 by 40, so we'll leave it, oops, 80. Alright, and then we're just gonna move that to in the middle. Okay, now we're going to select both and then copy paste, right, and then for both of them I will try, so 40, 41, 20. I'm gonna leave that from top 120, and then I'm just gonna try moving this in the middle, and let's select one of them now and try to drag that down. So one of them, select this, and from here, so it's 120 now, I'm going to make it 160 now. Alright, so we have 160 height for the anchor pane, so we're gonna go back to anchor pane now, and instead of 240 I can change the height to 160. Alright, so let me just save this and let's go back to NetBeans and let's run it, and let's see if we are able to get that anchor pane with all those buttons. Alright, cool. So we have all those buttons now. Now let's go back to our scene builder, and now let's change the text of each button. So this button, I'm gonna just double click because it's the faster way, but there's so many ways that you could do. You could right click and you could edit text there. Alright, and then you can go to properties, and then here there's a button text as well. Alright, so just double click on the button, make it 0, this one dot, that one is going to be is equal to, then plus, minus, multiply, which is a star sign, and divide. Alright, and now it's time for the button. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then we have the text field on the top as well. I'm actually going to name that, go to code, right, and here we have fxml id. Okay, so we can just leave as text field. Okay, let's just save that now. Let's go back to NetBeans now and let's run the project, and let's see if we have all the buttons what we need, and then I will explain the code now, what's happening in fxml file. Okay, so we have all the buttons which are not doing anything right now. I may be gonna go back there and I'm gonna add a clear button as well. So let's just select the anchor pane from the hierarchy here, and in the layout now we are going to change that to 200. Okay, because I need a button at the bottom for, well, it didn't work actually, so 200, 240, yep, that's 240 is fine. And now let's select one more button and let's just drop that here. Okay, and with that, prefer width is going to be 400. I have to move that button to the left to make it equal. Alright, and now the size with the height, we'll give it 40, which will add up to 240. Alright, so let's change the text to C. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. You can save this by pressing Control S, or you can go here and save that. Let me just give you a quick overview of a scene builder as well. So in the scene builder, on the right we have the properties, layout, and the code, and on the left we have containers, all the UI components, what you need to design a UI for a graphical interface, and then we have a document hierarchy, and then we have a controller. So right now it's automatically detected that we have a controller file there, so that's why selected. If you made a controller by yourself, then you have to come here and select that controller file. Alright, let's save the document again, and then let's go back and I'll show you what's happening here. So here is the fxml file, which has an anchor pane. ID is anchor pane, height, width, and then you need this xml colon fx and this path. Okay, so you need to have this if you are designing fxml without scene below. You need these two codes. And then we have a controller file, which is fx colon controller, and then part of the file. So the controller file is in our main package. That is why we don't have to give it a path, so just write the name. And then we have the components, such as we have hbox 40, and then we have buttons here, all of them. And then we set the text, which is here. So you could change the text from the code as well, but we could use scene builder. Alright, so this is pretty much fxml document. Now let's check out the controller file, which is actually giving us an error. I'm not sure why, but we'll just figure out when it's give us any errors. So alright guys, so I got rid of the errors. What I did actually, I removed the code. So right now we only have a controller class, and I changed the name of the controller class as well. The reason we had error because it was giving us a duplicate class found. That's kind of bug in NetBeans, that we had to remove the cache. So I had to go to the file browser and then remove the old cache from there, and then I was able to get rid of the error. So now we have no errors. I have this controller file, and then in main file, which is a controller calculator.java, I have add this parent root and this node, all of the scene objects in a try and catch block. So if we have any exceptions, I write down here e prints that just catch this exception, right? And then we have a main method which only takes launch args. Alright, so this is pretty much, I'm just gonna, maybe you can pause the video here and look at the code here, but you need to make sure that you have an exact fxml.document .fxml file here, and then we'll put that in a try and catch block. So right now I'm gonna run the project, and let's see what we have so far. Alright, so we have all the buttons there, and we have this C, which is going to clear everything. And now it's time for us to add functionality to our application. To add functionality, I'm going to go to fxmlcontroller.java file, and in that file we're going to add all the functionality we need. So first of all, we need to add few variables here. I'll show you the class I'm going to use. So let's just type private and use the class big decimal. Okay, this is the part of the java.math package. You can look at the documentation for this by just going to Java docs, and I'm going to name the variable left. It's just alright, and the next variable we need is a string variable, so I'll make it private, and we are going to name it, let's say, selected operator. Alright, and the third variable I'm gonna be adding is private. It's going to be boolean, and well, let's say number in inputting. Alright, so we have these three variables. Now we use this big decimal class. You can check out the Java documentation by right clicking and show Java docs. That's what we're gonna use, and then let's come down here, and we're gonna add a constructor for our controller file, which It's going to be public name of the controller file, fxml controller, and in that controller I'm gonna type this dot left, okay, and is equal to, we're gonna make it big decimal dot 0. Let me just let you read. So the value with the scale of 0, right? So it's very simple. Alright, and then we're gonna add this dot selected operator, which is going to be string. I'm gonna make it empty, and then this dot number inputting, we're gonna make it false for the first time. Alright, so we have the controller done. Now let's go down, and now the method we're gonna add is going to be fxml method. One thing I want to mention here, that you need to have a tag on the top of your variable. If you are getting UI component from your fxml document, then you need to tag this by at fxml. Let me let you read that. So it annotates that tag, class, or member as accessible. So it's gonna get us access all those variables or member from the fxml file. So I'm gonna add that, and then we are going to add a method name, public void. Well, just name it operate buttons. It's up to you what you want to name it. So I'm gonna name it operate buttons, and we're gonna add action event, right? So action event, and let's name it EVT. It's fine. Alright, so we have one file. One more thing I want to access, if I go back to fxml document, we have this text field. So we set the ID of text field. So let's go back to controller file, and then here we're going to add that variable. Let's just add that on the top here actually. So tag it with fxml, and then name private, and we're gonna name it let's say text field, which is a kind of that variable, and then a name of that. So that's going to be text field. Alright, so let's go to operate button. In the operate button, first of all, let's create an object from a button. So type button, and name it just a button, is equal to, initialize it with a button, and then EVT, which is our event. When it happens, then you get the source, okay, source from the button. So we got that, and then we're gonna add another string variable, which is going to help us to get the text from the button. So we'll name it button text is equal to, and then we just simply get button dot get text. Okay, all right. We need to import that, so click here and add import for scene dot this button for. All right, so now we have button object, which will get us a source when we click that button, and then we have the button text variable, which is a string variable, and we set that equal to button dot get text. It's gonna get us a text from there. Alright, so first thing we need to check here, that if the button text equals to, and type equals, yep, and then let's say we have a C button there, right? So let's just make that, and then if that button equals to C, and if button text dot equals again C, alright, and then what it should do, it should set that to left variable to big decimal dot 0. So type left is equal to big decimal dot 0. Alright, and then let's get out of that if condition, and then we need to set that operator. So let's select selected operator, make sure it's empty once it's get that C button, right? So it's make sure that set that operator to empty, and then we can make sure number inputting, we can set that to true. So it's gonna make sure that when we click on the C button, then it's gonna make that operator empty, and then we're gonna add that inputting to true, so we could add the buttons. And maybe, yep, let's text field, let's clear it. Okay, so clear that as well, so we don't need anything in there. And then we're just going to add a return after this. Alright, so that's if statements done. And then let's add another if statement. So if let's say button text dot, there's a method called matches. Yep, that's a string. So if that matches to, we can add an array here. So to add an array, add these brackets there, square brackets, and then here we can type 0 to 9, and then we have two more buttons, which is a dot button, and that's pretty much it is. So if that happens, then it's going to, let me check one thing here. So if number inputting, oops, number inputting not true, then make sure that we can add number putting 2 is equal to true. So we're gonna make sure that it's true, and then text field is clear as well. Okay, and then let's get out there, and then we will just set the text field to append text to button text. So whatever the button it's been clicked, it's gonna set that text to the text field. Alright, and then let's just return. Okay, so we have done the if statement for our number buttons, and then we're gonna add some if statement for our operators now. Alright, so for the operator, let's just if button text dot matches to add a quotation, let's just add plus, minus, and we need steric, and then a divide sign, right? So if that button text matches to these, then what we can do is we can make that left variable to new big decimal class, and then we're gonna get that text there. So let's just text field dot get text. Okay, let me explain if you're not sure. So if that button has been pressed, which has this text on the top of them, plus, minus, steric, divide, so then we're gonna make this left to new decimal and get the text. Okay, and after that we are going to use our selected, where is it, selected operator is equal to button text. Okay, so we're gonna make this button or click to selected operator, and then we can add a number inputting to false as well. Okay, and then let's just return. Alright, what else do we need? Okay, so to apply that, first of all, let's create a method first. So let's just come down here. We are going to create a static method, and we're going to use that big decimal class, and I'm gonna name this calculate, maybe calculate. And then here we're gonna pass in some parameters. So first thing we need is a string, and I'm gonna name it operator, and then big decimal is a type, and then left. Okay, and then big decimal, and then make it a right. Alright, so we can add a switch statement now. It's giving me an error. I'm just gonna make it public. Oops, so let's just take this left. Alright, illegal start of then expression. Okay, we need to add bracket here. That's what happening here, and then we're just gonna get rid of this. Okay, and okay, let's just finish that. Still giving me an error. I think missing return statement, alright, so that's fine. We'll just leave that for now. Alright, so we're going to add a switch statement, and here we're going to pass in our parameter, which is an operator, and in that let's just apply some cases. So case, and if it's the plus case, alright, then let's come down here, then return left, okay, or the left button text was dot add, okay, add, which is a method from a big decimal which returns a big decimal whole, and it's gonna add left to right. Okay, so the number 1 and number 2, so let's just add, and then we're gonna pass in the right number. Okay, now case number 2 was, just going to copy and paste this few times. So copy that, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then after this we can add return right. Alright, so we're gonna get rid of the arrow now, so let's just change this to minus. Let's just change this to steric, and then we're gonna change this to divide. Okay, now we need to change that as well, so here we're going to change that to subtract method. So subtract, that's going to be multiply, and this is going to be divide. Alright, cool. So our method is done, and now let's go up there and add another if statement. If we press is equal to sign, so let's just say button text dot equals to this equal to sign, then what it should do, I'm gonna add another final big decimal, and we're gonna add a right variable is equal to, and now we're going to type number inputting question mark, and then new big decimal, yep, dot, now text field dot get text, and then the get out, and then colon left. Okay, after that statement, if you're not sure, don't worry, I'll explain that in a second. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm just gonna try finishing the code. Left is equal to, and now we're gonna call that calculate method on the left, so calculate, and then we're gonna add selected operator, and then left, and then right. Okay, oops, I forgot to add a semicolon, and then we're gonna add text field dot set text to, we can convert that left to string as well, so I'm gonna type left dot to string method now. So let's just add to string there, and then after that we're going to make number inputting to false. That's fine, and we need to add a return statement. Okay, so that's pretty much it is, and now let's try the application first. I'm just gonna build it, and let's just try it, and let's see if it's working. Hopefully it will be working. Okay, so 2 2 2 2 2 2, it's not working. It's not actually putting the number in to, okay, let's find out why. I'll figure out one thing here. Just gonna text field, I'm gonna set this text to 0. Let's try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, then we're just going to, I'm just gonna look at it. Okay, not happening. maybe there's an error with our fxml file. I'm just gonna check it out and I'll just come back with the solution. Okay, it's kind of funny solution. I've just checked that fxml document, which actually does not have any event. So let's just right click and open that to scene builder, and I'll show you what needs to be done. That was kind of funny mistake I've done here. So I'm going to select all these buttons, and then we're gonna go to code, and then we forgot to apply that on action. So select here, and then we're gonna select this operate button. Okay, and then save the file. Now let's go back. Now let's run the application. I'm just gonna click on this play button and let's see if it's working. Okay, so I'm just gonna click 2 plus 6, and we're gonna click on is equal sign, and it's giving us an answer 8. Alright, so it's working, guys. We have done our calculator. I'm just gonna close this application, and the last thing I want to show you in this tutorial is going to be how to add CSS. So there's a few things that you could do. I'm gonna open this into scene builder, fxml document.fxml file, and let's go back to NetBeans first, and here we're going to right click new others and go to others, and there's a style sheet, cascade style sheet. Click on that, and we're gonna name it style. Okay, and then finish. Okay, so we have the CSS file now. I'm just gonna get rid of this code now, and let's go back to scene builder, and here I'm going to select the anchor pane, and if you go and look at the properties, oops, and then here we have the option of a style. Okay, so we have a style sheet. I'm going to plus and then select this style sheet. Okay, that's done, and now we can actually select the buttons and then pass in the style class in there. But for now we're just gonna call them by different way. So I'm just gonna go back in the style sheet, and here I'm going to first of all link that style sheet to our fxml. So it should be linked already. So if I go to fxml document, and on the top you could see here style sheet, and then we have the name of the style sheet. So if you want to add that manually, you have to type add the rate of style and the name of your file, actually .css. Okay, now let's go to style.css. We're gonna add a few properties here. So I'm gonna type dot button, and then here to add that CSS file to your fxml document, you need to type dash fx dash and then the properties of your object. So right now I'm gonna select the background color. I'm gonna type hash, and then it's gonna give me an option for choose color, and then maybe let's select this button. Okay, and then add a semicolon. That's done, and then let's just add a color to text as well. So I'm gonna type font, and here we can add sans serif as a font, and then fx dash text fill. Let's just type white color, right? And then I'm gonna save this. Let's go back to scene builder now. Now this time I'm gonna select all the buttons again, except the C button actually. So select all the buttons. You could actually target the button type as well by, I'll show you that in a second, but I'm just gonna select all the buttons for now. And here if you go to the properties, and then you should see the style and then style class. So I'm gonna type select the button. As you can see that we have the button class now, and that's the color we got. Alright, and then we have the text fill color as well as a white. So all you have to do is just, because we have imported the style sheet, and then now let's go save it, and then let's go back to here, and then we can add one more thing. So I'm gonna add C button, and then for that let's add fx dash background color, and let's type hash, and maybe choose the colors. Choose, and I'm going to choose something like yellow. Okay, and now let's save this. Let's go back to scene builder, select this button now, and then let's go to the class, and then here we have two classes now, C button. Okay, cool. So let's save it and let's close scene builder, and now you guys know how to add the CSS on your JavaFX applications. Very simple. Just add that CSS, link it here in fxml document, and then create some objects such as button and C button, and then from the scene builder you can add that classes. But if you don't have a scene builder, if you want to add those classes, I'll show you that in the button. You see that we have now a style class as well, so you can just type style class and then name the button whatever it's there in the CSS. So that's how you can style your application with CSS as well. I'll probably do a separate video how to actually attach all these objects to a Java application. Let's run the application for the last time and let's see if it's working or not. Alright, so it's looking alright. I'm gonna add 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Right, so it's working, guys. And yeah, I'm gonna upload the source code to Google Drive, and you guys can download the zip file as well. Check out the link in the description, and if you like the video, smash the like button, and if you have any question, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers.